Fire officials say yesterday was a very good day, but today the work continues to try to get the remaining 16,000 people back home in Garden Grove and Stanton. What are the steps to make that happen? I'm Hetty Chang. Details coming up in a live report.
And today, thousands of people remain forced from their homes because of the Garden Grove chemical crisis. Why people in shelters like this say the situation grows harder on them by the day.
And breaking new details in the search for a 5-year-old girl and her father, who's now accused of killing the girl's mom, where his car was discovered.
The NBC4 News at 3 starts with breaking news.
And breaking right now at 3, thousands returned to their homes in Garden Grove, but the chemical tank crisis isn't over just yet. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. Most of the evacuations have been lifted for tens of thousands of people who haven't been able to go home for days. And that's because the threat of a massive explosion was eliminated yesterday after firefighters discovered a crack in the failed tank, which helped relieve some of that pressure. But the all clear hasn't been given just yet. Officials say the threat of a fire or smaller explosion still remains. And because of that, around 16,000 people are still under evacuation orders. We have a QR code on your screen. You see it right there. You can scan that at any time during our coverage to get the latest on the NBCLA app. We have live team coverage for you. NBC4's Keenan Willard is tracking the evacuation still in effect. But let's begin with Hetty Chang. She's live at the command post in Los Alamitos with the next steps that need to happen. Hetty.
Annabelle, fire officials say today really the main focus is what is happening inside that compromised tank. They say they really need that chemical MMA to solidify.
Ultimately, the chemical reaction will form basically just a real hard plastic. So it'll be just basically the way I understand, basically a tube full of hardened plastic. At that point, it's just hardened plastic, and that's all it is. It's no longer a threatening chemical to the environment, and that's really what we're aiming for.
Yeah, so once that happens, the experts say there is no longer a threat of an explosion, of a fire, or of a leak. That's the danger that is still there after they eliminated the possibility of a catastrophic explosion yesterday. Fire officials say today all the factors to make that happen are pointing in the right direction. The tank's internal temperature is 92 degrees and going down, and the tank is cooling without the help of that continuous stream of water from a water hose. Fire crews were able to shut that off yesterday. Now, tonight, fire officials will be at a community meeting happening at 5:30 in Garden Grove to update people on the operation and for the community to ask questions.
It's an opportunity for them to share their concerns, what they have felt through this process, and then for us to be able to give really a debrief and a rundown as to where this started to where it is right now. We're hoping that we can just be transparent with the community, let them know that we are fully engaged, but that also we really want to hear from them.
Yeah, that was the mayor of Garden Grove. She will be there, as well as the police chief of Garden Grove. We also know members of the Orange County Fire Authority will be there as well. Annabelle, we expect that the main question tonight for some of these remaining people who are still out of their homes will be when can they go back home? Still no timeline on that. We're live in Los Alamitos. Hetty Chang, NBC4 News. Annabelle, back to you.
All right, Hetty, thank you so much for that. So let's talk about that. Let's take a look at this updated map here. Nearly 16,000 people. They all live in this area right here. This is the evacuation zone. So they're still waiting for their chance to return home after being evacuated because of the chemical crisis. NBC4's Keenan Willard is live at the Freedom Hall shelter in Fountain Valley. Keenan, people there, I'm sure, are reaching a breaking point.
The frustration growing here. It's not for a lack of support. I mean, you can see at this shelter just how many resources are still here. The World Central Kitchen with their food giveaway, the Red Cross, the shelter obviously still here with bed space, but growing pressure continuing on those people who still cannot return home at this point, whether that's financial pressure, costs that they didn't think they were going to have to bring on themselves, or just the strain of being away from home at this point for upwards of 5 days. As you mentioned, that evacuation zone was reduced yesterday, authorities allowing some 2/3 of that original 50,000 people group to return to their houses and apartments here in the Garden Grove area, but that left around 16,000 people who are still having to find alternative lodging until this crisis is totally resolved. Some of these people still sleeping in this Red Cross shelter here at Freedom Hall, or outside in a tent, or in their cars here at Miles Square Park. There's no shortage, though, of volunteers trying to help these people through this moment. As we said, World Central Kitchen has been doing lunches and dinners here for free. The Red Cross has been giving out donated clothes to families, as well as running this shelter. There's even been a mobile medical clinic that's set up here to check on anyone in need of treatment. Still, the people in the shelter here tell me this evacuation notice cannot end soon enough.
They've been taking care of us. It's just that there's no place like home.
Myself, it's not that hard. I've been homeless before, but this has been tough for her, you know, yeah.
I actually had to turn down a job because this happened, you know, and so, yeah, when it rains, it pours.
A lot of people trying to stay positive in this situation, but the strain definitely growing. You could feel it in some of those conversations that we had with them. The OC Fire Authority saying today in their latest update that they're going to try to get those people back in their homes as soon as it is safe to do so. From Fountain Valley, Keenan, Willard, NBC4 News.
All right, Keenan, thank you very much for that update. And in just a couple of hours, we're going to be at a community meeting that's set for 5:30 in Garden Grove to talk about the ongoing crisis. In the meantime, we're going to keep you posted with updates from the Orange County Fire Authority as they come in. And remember, for breaking updates, including changes to the evacuation map, go to our website, NBCLA.com, and the NBCLA